What's up everyone on the internet? Thank you for making this video party. I'm so excited to upload this one for you guys because this video we're going back to the front lines with the Saga of Tanya the Evil, the movie. Woof, that is a mouthful. Okay, because this film dives heavily into huge plot points that happen at the end of season 1, a big spoiler warning is needed. So if you haven't seen season 1 yet, I highly recommend you click on the link in the description down below. That is my review for season 1. So be sure to check out that video and don't forget to hit that like button. Alright, with that out of the way, here's my overall take on this film. So this film came out back in 2019 and serves as a direct sequel to the first season of the anime that came out back in 2017. And one of the things I wish was added in that first season was an opposing force that could pursue Tanya throughout the entire story. And we sort of got that with Colonel Sue, who pretty much popped up every now and then, but when you look at it, his run-ins with Tanya were completely random. Here we have a clear, definitive opposing force that can rival against Tanya throughout this movie, and it's this little girl who just so happens to be the daughter of Colonel Sue that Tanya killed off at the end of season 1, whose name is Mary Sue. And oh my god, her name is Mary Sue for a reason, because she is a literal Mary Sue. I mean, she is too OP in this movie. More on that later. But before Tanya goes toe-to-toe with Mary, we need to set the stage for these two. So one of the things I found very interesting about this movie was the overall setting, given how it is set during a world war. And while the first season was taking place over European soil, this is where we start to see the scale of this war as we go from Europe to Russia. You know, looking back at history, one of the reasons why Germany couldn't conquer Russia during World War II was because of the overall weather conditions. And with Russia going from one blizzard to another, most of Germany's forces couldn't advance into that country, not with all their vehicles freezing up in the snow. Well, we don't have that problem here, not with everyone having magical powers. Oh, and I almost forgot, remember Victoria from season 1, who was, I guess you could say, Tanya's best friend? I don't know what other term you would give her. But apparently her family was originally from this Russian country. And what better way to celebrate this homecoming than by having her boss give her full permission to turn loose on these people. At one point she looks at Victoria and says, "They're commies, blow the shit out of them." Oh my god, what happens after that conversation is a hostile takeover on a whole nother level. So while Tanya is busy setting up shop in her brand new office in the country she invaded in under a day, the movie decides to show things from Mary's point of view, which was an eye-opening experience because throughout this entire series, we've been following the story from Tanya's perspective, to which we almost forget that she's the bad guy of the story and every bad guy needs a hero to go up against. And we get that with Tanya versus Mary, and oh my god, the fights between them are pretty cool. Now, what I loved about the conflict between these two characters is how they both depict one another. When you look at this from Tanya's point of view, to her, Mary is nothing to her. In fact, Mary is a fly that needs to be swatted. But dear god, this fly is a bee that is ready to sting, because when you look at this fight from Mary's perspective, Tanya is not only the evil that she's trying to rid the world of, but she just so happens to be the girl that killed her dad. Holy crap, the moment when she realizes that it was Tanya that put her dad into the ground, something inside this girl's brain just snaps as she suddenly becomes this unstoppable force of nature that will not cease until she kills Tanya. Damn, that fight is something special, because while you have Tanya, who is just trying to survive this whole ordeal, Mary is like a tiger. And when you realize that this is a fight to the death between two little girls who may be 12 years old, the stakes couldn't be any more higher, as this is a fight between two kids who are trying to rid the world of one another. I also love the symbolism that you see in these two characters, because while Tanya is definitely depicted as the devil, Mary is seen as an angelic figure who is ready to take up arms against evil. Yeah, she does go a little off the rail, but I mean, who wouldn't if you found out that your loved one was killed by this evil little girl? But when you look at her in comparison to Tanya, she's her complete opposite. Because while Tanya is cruel and ruthless, Mary is kind of compassionate, which is why these two characters just hate each other so much. Now, since Tanya is the central character of this entire franchise, I was having mixed emotions, because on the one hand, while I liked watching Tanya's story of her climbing to power in the first season, after I was introduced to Mary and got to see her kick some ass, I'm not gonna lie, I was starting to root for this girl. Moving past this film, moving toward the future of this franchise, I cannot wait to see more from these two characters that will pretty much divide the fan base. Because if the second season can do this right by having viewers spend more time with Mary, the next time she comes into contact with Tanya, it's gonna be something else, because now fans aren't gonna be sure on which girl they're gonna root for. So here's hoping that season 2 can surpass this movie, because oh my god, the bar has been set for this franchise. I mean, everything about this film was firing off on all cylinders. We not only got to see the long-awaited fight between Tanya and Mary, but we also got to see some pretty cool battle scenes. And while the politics side of the movie isn't as big as what we saw in the first season of the show, I'm honestly okay with that, because the story's main focus was about the fight between Tanya and Mary. And after seeing the after credits scene, I have no doubt that politics are going to play a huge role in the second season. So overall, I really had a good time watching this movie, and if you're going to see it, I strongly recommend you watch the first season of the anime, which is something that I really don't often say, but given how a lot of references in this movie are all point toward the first season of the show, you'll probably need to watch the first season. But if you already saw the first season, then by all means, feel free to watch this movie, as it serves as a great chapter in Tanya's story and also sets the stage of what's going to happen in season 2. Well, that's going to do it for this video, guys. That was my overall review on the Saga of Tanya the Evil, the movie. If you like what you saw, click the subscribe button so you always updates from this channel. I'll see you next time with a brand new video. Bye-bye.